All right, good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of your forecast. Hope everyone is out there enjoying the seasonal day because it is going to get cut short with our next cold front set to arrive tomorrow morning. We're going to see some really chilly temperatures on Wednesday. It's going to be a slow struggle to get into those mid 40s for us here in the Amarillo area. The further north you go, some of us will probably stay in the 30s for those highs on Wednesday. And then our focus will be turned towards that chance for snow heading into Wednesday night and Thursday morning. And it does look like some of us might even see some minor accumulations. So we'll have to break that down here in your Facebook update or in your YouTube update. Let's go ahead and take a look at your temperatures right now. 61 here in Amarillo, 62 in Vega. Right now it's 60 degrees in Clovis, New Mexico, and those winds are breezy, especially for the southern half of the Panhandle and back into eastern New Mexico. 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds there in Curry County, 25 sustained in Dimmitt, 23 in Tulia, so definitely a windier day the further south you get. So here's our radar and water vapor imagery. You can see our next trough. This is almost borderline a cutoff low that's moving through Idaho. It's eventually going to work its way through Utah tomorrow morning and then eventually into parts of Colorado and then maybe parts of New Mexico before swinging kind of over our heads here in the panhandles. This is going to be a very positively tilted trough. Those normally don't bring in much moisture. So while we're talking about the increased chance for precipitation, I don't want you guys to get your hopes up that this is going to be a big event. It may be enough to be measurable, but probably will be one of those more minor events that we deal with here in the high plains. So just again, don't get your hopes up on a sizable snow amount. So we'll get into that here in a second. But here's your highs for tomorrow. I'm going to see some breezier winds behind the front. We'll climb to about 45 in Amarillo. It's going to feel more like 38 to 40 with that stronger north wind. We'll see temperatures return to the lower 50s the further south you go, but kind of a sharper gradient in those temps from south to north. So again, the warmer weather will be further south, chilly weather to cold weather the further north you get towards areas like Guymon and Boise City. So let's go ahead and run through the computer model. Again, that cold front will get here probably around sunrise tomorrow, maybe a little bit before then. So it's going to be a slow, grueling process to even get up into the 40s in the afternoon. As we get to 6 p.m., you can see our model starting to show a better band of snow, really kind of to our north up in parts of Kansas and southeast Colorado. There's going to be some good mountain snow going up there along the front range from the Sangre de Cristos all the way up, really all the way up towards Denver. For us, it's going to be more of these splotchy snow showers to start with. We may even see it start as rain initially. It's not going to take very long, though, for it to transition to snow. Just the thing is, we may start seeing precipitation at about 38 to 39 degrees. And so, snow may be melting a couple hundred feet above the ground, but as we continue to wet bulb down to below freezing, I would imagine it probably only takes 5 or 10 minutes from that rain to go to snowfall. It's not going to take very long at all. So this is largely just going to be a snow event for us, and that's really why we've just only emphasized the winter weather impacts for this one. As we get towards 2 a.m. on Thursday, our model, it's again kind of splotchy and spotty. This is going to be an event where moisture is really not a widespread commodity, and the dynamics not going to support probably much more than some mesoscale bands of snow trying to set up over the area. So inevitably, there's going to be places here in the panhandles that don't see any snow. You may only have to go 15, 20 miles to go to where maybe a band of snow does set up, and you're talking about 1 or 2 inches of accumulation. Getting into Thursday morning, you can see that stuff starts to transition to more of the southern counties by 7, 8 a.m. Areas further south will be the ones dealing with the light precipitation. But again, it's going to be kind of spotty. It's not going to be for everyone. And then we'll see those clouds clear out in the afternoon, and temperatures will, we think, eventually get above freezing for about 95% of us. Areas further north, especially if there's a blanket of snow on the ground, it may only get up to about 31, 32 degrees. But regardless, we'll be cold on Thursday. So definitely make sure to dress in layers. And then heading into Friday morning, it's going to be a very cold start. Those temperatures will be down into the teens and into those lower 20s with wind chills even colder than that. So this is the in-house model's output in terms of snowfall potential. You can see that these are not really staggering numbers. This is going to be just enough to be measurable. You might get caught in some of these bands where they do set up if they're training over the same spot for 1 to 2 hours, that you might get that 1 to 2 inches of snow accumulation, but it's not going to be anything very impressive, but maybe enough to cause a minor inconvenience to your morning drive on Thursday, just pending the timing of when you head out the door. Again, it's not going to be a big event, but you could see just a brief, dusting of snowfall. This we tried to mimic off of the National Weather Service probabilities from the National Blend of Models. The further west, northwest you get, the better your odds are going to be at seeing some of this winter weather precipitation. And we'll go ahead and kind of get into that here. I'm going to go ahead and show you. This is an experimental model, but this is basically the high resolution rapid refresh, just the National Weather Service's version of it. So again, it's got a really high spatial resolution, and so usually these do a much better job at picking up those more finite details rather than those mid-range models like the GFS and the European model. So this is Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. We're looking at 700 millibar moisture. I like looking at this because if we don't have 700 millibar moisture, we probably don't have the cloud cover and we probably don't have the precipitation. So you can see here over the panhandles, early Wednesday morning, lots of dry air the further southeast you go, a little bit more moisture the further north and west you get, and probably some precipitation, lots of snow probably happening as you wake up Wednesday in the Denver metro area. As we get further into the day, you can see that plume of moisture associated with that 700 millibar low starts to get a bit further to the south. And this is by the time we get to late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, there's a much better band of moisture starting to set up shop there kind of around Raton Pass and then back up towards Trinidad and Walsenburg. This is where we'll probably see that band of snow not too long after sunset on Wednesday. And as we get towards midnight, you can see that it's again not high moisture content over the panhandles, but there may be some streaks in here where we probably see some of these, quick hitting bursts of snow across the area. And then moving into Thursday morning, you can see again that best plume really just kind of gets hung up over here. Really not great depth of moisture the further south you get. And so I do have some reservations on if we're even going to see anything here. There's kind of a better plume the further south you get, but really kind of just a drier air mass coming through. Unfortunately, that may couple in with some of our vorticity. You can see this is just the big trough, positive trough here. Probably easier to see it with this, with the eyes anyway. It's not as harsh on your eyes. But you can see we do have this trough here. You can see there's again some stronger winds the further south you get. So again, a little bit of a divergent portion of the jet streak early on Thursday from midnight to about 6 a.m. for us in the panhandles. I think that may be our window for the northwest portion of the area. But look at all the positive vorticity coming through. A lot of this is favoring the northwest corner of the panhandles. And so for right now, if I were a betting person, I would say the further northwest you get, probably the better your odds are going to be at maybe seeing a better band of snow trying to set up. That being said, we still think there may be some of that better moisture later in the day on Thursday that gets pushed further south. And so you kind of have these two areas where there's some higher probabilities for 1 inch of snow. This stuff will be mostly on Wednesday night up here towards Clayton, Dalhart, and Boise City. This stuff down here from Clovis to Portales, kind of extending up close to the Canyon, Amarillo metro area, is going to be more of like Thursday morning. Again, this stuff's going to start up north and slowly push to the south. And then eventually that trough's going to eject from west to east across the region, moving into the second half of the day. The chance to get to 2 inches of snow drops off dramatically. So again, don't bank on getting a heavy amount of snow with this event. It's only about a 10 to 20% chance that we get 2 inches of snow accumulation through the 24-hour period. So odds are it's going to be a very, very light event and probably even less than an inch for most of us. So that technically doesn't fall under winter weather advisory criteria. So here's our 7-day tracker. It is going to be cold to finish off the work week. Again, that snow is probably going to be anywhere from 6 p.m. Wednesday, the further north you go, from when it starts to as late as maybe 7 a.m. Thursday morning, the further south you get. But it should clear out as we get through the day on Thursday. The worst time to potentially travel would probably be Thursday morning. I still don't think it's going to be much of a burden to you. There may be some pockets or localized areas where we do get that 1 to 2 inches of snow. Some of those places might have some slick spots out there. The visibility will also be more of an issue where the snow is falling on Thursday morning, but I don't think it's going to be a widespread problem for us. It's not going to be, an area-wide impact kind of event. It's going to be really hit and miss. Some areas may have 1 to 2 inches of snow. Visibility's down to a quarter to a half a mile. Those places will certainly be harder to travel in than the ones that don't see the snow or just end up with snow flurries. Friday, we do have the Electric Light Parade Friday night. It is going to be a cold one. Make sure you dress in layers if you're going to come out celebrating with us there on Polk Street. And then we've got a more seasonal day on Saturday before a cold front pushes through, keeping us in the low 50s Sunday. And then after this event, Thursday and Friday, it's really a quiet forecast period. We're expecting kind of a more rapid warm up early next week. We'll probably see some warmer weather days for a 7 to 10 day period before some of the longer range ensembles suggest we may have some more cold air towards the middle of December or the second half of December. So if you don't see the moisture on Thursday, Wednesday night into Thursday, it's probably going to be a while before we see our next chance of precipitation. But that's all we've got for you this afternoon. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Don't forget to hit the like button, and we'll see you tonight at 5.